is with a humble heart that I share with you today some of the most profound teachings passed down through time, the wisdom of Edgar Cayce, a man known as the sleeping prophet who spoke about the cycles of life and the subtle signs that indicate when a soul approaches its final stage here on earth. You may wonder why such knowledge matters to you now. Life often rushes past us, like a river flowing swiftly, carrying us without pause. Yet, there are moments when we must stop, look deeply, and listen inwardly. Today, I invite you to join me in such a pause, in a quiet reflection, to understand these 9 signs not as a source of fear, but as a gentle reminder to cherish each breath, each heartbeat, and each opportunity for growth and grace. The first indicator, the softening of your desires. Have you noticed how, in the later stages of life, the endless wants that once consumed your mind begin to fade? The craving for material things, the need for constant approval, the restless chase for achievements. They begin to feel hollow. I have seen many who, in their youth, were bound tightly to their ambitions, but in time, those ambitions loosen like autumn leaves falling to the ground. It is in this gentle surrender that true freedom is born. Let me share a story. A man once came to me, burdened by regret and a relentless pursuit of success. He asked, "How do I find peace when the world demands so much?" I told him, "Peace is not found by grasping harder, but by letting go. When you let go of the unnecessary, what remains is the essence of your being, pure, unburdened, and ready to embrace the final journey." The second sign, a deepening awareness of time's preciousness. Suddenly, days feel both longer and shorter. Longer because you see each moment's depth, and shorter because you realize how few remain. There is no need to rush. Rather, there is a sacred urgency to live meaningfully. I encourage you to reflect. How do you spend your time? Are your actions aligned with your soul's purpose? The third sign, the blossoming of compassion. Not just for others, but for yourself. Life is not perfect. It never has been. Yet, in these final cycles, there is a quiet kindness that grows within, a forgiving spirit that understands the imperfections of our human journey. When you embrace this compassion, you soften the harsh judgments you may have held about your past, your mistakes, and your limitations. Now, consider the fourth sign, a shift from external validation to internal peace, the applause of others, the recognition, the social status. These fade in importance. What matters most is the stillness within, the harmony between your actions and your values. This shift is not easy, for society often teaches us otherwise. But the final life cycle calls us inward, to the sanctuary of our soul's quiet presence. The fifth sign is a heightened intuition, a knowing that transcends logic. Perhaps you have experienced moments of clarity, sudden insights, or a gentle nudging towards certain choices. This is your soul whispering, guiding you toward what truly matters. Trust this inner voice, for it carries the wisdom of all your life's experiences, woven together in a sacred tapestry. The sixth sign, a gradual detachment from the ego's stories. We are often trapped in narratives about who we are, what we have done, or what others expect. In the final stage, these stories lose their grip. What remains is simply being, pure, radiant, and free from illusion. This is a path toward enlightenment, one paved by the courage to face your true self without fear. The seventh sign reveals itself in relationships. Some may gently fade, while others deepen beyond words. You begin to understand that connection is less about quantity and more about quality. You seek presence over pretense, truth over superficiality. This sacred circle of connection supports and nurtures your soul's journey. The eighth sign is an embrace of simplicity. Life's complexities fall away like a heavy cloak. You find joy in the simple, a breath of fresh air, a smile from a stranger, the quiet sound of rain. These simple moments become treasures, illuminating your path with quiet grace. Finally, the ninth sign, a profound acceptance of impermanence. Life, like all things, flows in cycles. To resist this truth is to suffer, but to accept impermanence is to live with an open heart, free from attachment and rich in gratitude. This acceptance brings a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that welcomes the next chapter with gentle curiosity and trust. So, dear friends, as you hear these signs, do not fear the final cycle. Instead, welcome it as an opportunity, an invitation to deepen your presence, to align with your highest self, and to make peace with the great mystery that enfolds us all. I invite you now to reflect quietly. What signs do you recognize in your own life? How might you honor this sacred time with mindfulness and intention? Thank you for journeying with me today. This is only the beginning of our exploration. There is much more to uncover, and I look forward to continuing this path together. Until next time, may your heart be calm, your mind clear, and your spirit at peace. This video will continue in the next page. Stay with me for deeper insight and continued wisdom. Welcome back, dear friends. I am grateful you remain with me as we continue this sacred conversation. In the last part, We explored the 9 signs Edgar Cayce spoke of, the subtle, yet profound indicators that we are moving into the final cycle of life. Today, we will explore how these signs can teach us valuable lessons about living with intention, grace, and awakening to the true essence of our being. Let me begin with a story that has stayed with me for many years. Once, in a remote village, an elder was asked by a young seeker, "How do I know when my time is near?" The elder did not answer directly, but instead pointed to a river nearby and said, "Observe how the river flows. Notice how it moves steadily toward the ocean, not rushing, not resisting. Your life is like this river. When you see the signs, do not fear the destination, but rather embrace the flow." This story reminds us that these signs are not markers of an end to dread, but invitations to embrace life's flow with calm awareness. The 9th sign we spoke of, acceptance of impermanence, is the gateway to this flow. You may wonder, how can one cultivate such acceptance? How do we prepare our hearts for this inevitable journey? The answer lies in the practice of mindfulness, the art of being fully present with each moment without judgment or resistance. When we practice mindfulness, we allow ourselves to witness life's changing nature without clinging or aversion. I have walked this path for many years, and I have learned that mindfulness is like a gentle lantern in a dark room. It does not change what is there, but it reveals it clearly, allowing us to respond with wisdom rather than react with fear. Now, let us reflect on the 4th sign we touched upon, the movement from external validation to internal peace. In my years as a monk, I have met countless souls who have struggled deeply with this transition. Society encourages us to seek praise, status, and recognition, but these are fleeting shadows. Real peace is a quiet flame that burns steadily within, untouched by applause or criticism. I remember a man who came to me burdened with regret over a life spent chasing approval. He asked, "Is it too late for me to find peace?" I told him, peace is not bound by time. It is always available, like the sun hidden behind clouds. You only need to lift your gaze and let it shine into your heart. This man began a simple daily practice, sitting quietly, observing his thoughts and emotions without judgment. Slowly, the heavy weight of needing to prove himself began to lift. His inner flame grew brighter, and with it, a profound sense of calm. Dear friends, this story is a reminder it is never too late to turn inward and find the sanctuary of your soul. The final life cycle is not a punishment, but a sacred opportunity, a time to cultivate inner peace that outlasts all outer circumstances. Now, I want to invite you to consider your own life. Are you still seeking validation outside yourself? Or have you begun to feel that quiet flame within, urging you to rest in your true nature? Let's take a moment together to breathe deeply, inhaling calm, exhaling tension. Feel the rhythm of your breath, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. This simple act grounds us in the present, reminding us that no matter where we are in life's journey, this moment is always here, full of potential for awakening. As we move forward, the 6th sign, detachment from ego stories, invites us to look at the narratives we tell ourselves. These stories shape our identity, yet they can also imprison us in roles that no longer serve our growth. I recall a woman who believed she was not enough. This story defined her for decades, coloring every relationship and decision. But as she embraced the final cycle of her life, she began to question this belief. With guidance, she practiced seeing herself beyond the story as a radiant being deserving of love and peace. This shift was not instant, but gradual, like dawn breaking slowly over the horizon. And with it came freedom. You see, dear ones, the ego is not our enemy. It is a part of us that needs to be understood and lovingly released when the time is right. When we do so, we create space for our true self to emerge, unburdened and whole. This process requires courage. It calls for us to face our fears, regrets, and attachments with gentle honesty. But know this, you are not alone. The journey is shared by many souls, each walking their unique path toward the light of awareness. As we continue, the 7th sign, transformation in relationships, teaches us the sacred art of presence. A dear friend of mine once said, "It is not the number of people in your life that matters, but the quality of the moments shared. In the quiet presence of those we love, we find healing, understanding, and a mirror that reflects our own soul's growth." Finally, the 8th sign, embracing simplicity, invites us to return to the basics. In this fast-paced world, simplicity is revolutionary. It means appreciating the small joys, the quiet spaces, the gentle rhythms of nature. I encourage you to ask yourself, what in your life is truly necessary? What brings you peace and joy? How can you create more space for these simple treasures as we walk this path together? Know that each step is sacred. Each breath is a prayer. Each moment is a gift. Thank you for allowing me to share these teachings with you. Our journey is far from over. In the next page, we will delve deeper into the spiritual transformations that accompany the final cycle, exploring how to live with grace, wisdom, and an open heart. Until then, may you walk gently, breathe deeply, and embrace the beauty of your unfolding story. Welcome once again, dear friends. As we continue this sacred conversation about the final stage of life, that profound cycle Edgar Cayce so wisely spoke of. Now that we have reflected on the signs and their deep meanings, it is time to explore how we might live fully and gracefully within this time. How to embody peace, wisdom, and presence as the river of life flows steadily onward. You see, knowing the signs is one thing, but living in harmony with them requires conscious effort. It calls us to cultivate what I call the 3 pillars of final life: wisdom, presence, compassion, and acceptance. These pillars support us through challenges and illuminate the path ahead. Let us begin with presence, the art of truly being here right now. Presence is not a destination, it is a continuous practice. A moment-to-moment choice to wake up from the distractions of the mind and rest in the stillness of your being. Imagine a flame flickering in the dark. Presence is that flame, a light that does not waver even amidst the winds of fear or uncertainty. To cultivate presence, start simply by observing your breath. Feel the inhale, feel the exhale. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back without judgment. In my own journey, I have found that presence deepens when we invite curiosity instead of resisting uncomfortable feelings or thoughts. We become observers, curious explorers of our inner world. What sensations arise? What stories does your mind tell? This curious presence transforms fear into understanding. Now, the second pillar, compassion, is the heart's medicine. Compassion begins with kindness toward others, but it is incomplete without kindness toward yourself. Often, we are our own harshest critics, holding on to guilt or regret. I recall a woman I met who carried decades of shame for mistakes she made in her youth. Through gentle meditation and self-inquiry, she learned to offer herself forgiveness, not to excuse the past, but to free herself from its chains. Compassion is a powerful practice that softens the heart and opens us to healing. It invites us to see ourselves and others as imperfect beings worthy of love. Finally, the third pillar is acceptance, the profound willingness to embrace life exactly as it is without resistance. Acceptance does not mean passivity or giving up, rather, it is the courage to acknowledge reality without adding suffering through denial or anger. Acceptance is like the river we spoke of, flowing around obstacles, bending gracefully, always moving forward. It allows us to find peace amid life's inevitable changes. Together, these pillars create a foundation for living the final life cycle with dignity and grace. But how do we put these into practice? Every day, let me share a simple ritual that can ground you in these teachings. 1. Begin your morning with quiet breath awareness. 5 deep, mindful breaths, inviting presence. 2. Throughout the day, pause to check in with your heart. Ask yourself, am I holding on to judgment or resistance? Can I soften and show compassion? 3. At night, reflect gently on the day without criticism, embracing all experiences with acceptance. This daily practice is a path, not perfection. It is a tender unfolding, a gradual awakening to the beauty and impermanence of life. Now, dear friends, I want to remind you that the final cycle also brings spiritual transformations. As you let go of old attachments and embrace these pillars, you may experience shifts in your perception, moments of clarity, expanded awareness, or a sense of connectedness beyond the self. Such experiences are gifts, glimpses of the eternal light that resides within us all. But remember, spiritual awakening is not about escaping life, it is about embracing it fully. In all its mystery and wonder, I invite you now to sit with these reflections, to breathe deeply and feel the quiet strength growing within you. The journey continues, and there is more wisdom yet to share. Thank you for walking this path with me. In the next page, we will explore how to navigate common fears and uncertainties that arise during this final cycle and how to transform them into sources of strength and peace. Until then, may your heart remain open, your mind clear, and your spirit ever gentle. Welcome back. Dear friends, I feel honored that you continue this journey with me, stepping deeper into the profound teachings of the final cycle of life. Today, we explore one of the most powerful companions on this path, fear. Fear is natural, it is a signal, an ancient part of us designed to protect. Yet, in the final stage of life, fear can become a barrier, clouding the clarity we seek, weighing down the heart that longs for peace. I remember a time when I too was gripped by fear, not of death itself, but of the unknown beyond it. The mind spun stories, the heart contracted, and the body tensed. It was in those moments that I learned the importance of facing fear with courage, rather than running from it. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. Like the lotus flower that blooms in muddy waters, our courage emerges from embracing the very things that frighten us. Let me share a simple practice that helped me transform fear into peace. It is called the threefold breath. When you feel fear rising, perhaps anxiety about what lies ahead, stop and breathe deeply. 1. Inhale deeply through the nose, feeling the breath fill your belly. 2. Hold the breath gently for a count of 3. 3. Exhale slowly through the mouth, releasing tension and fear. Repeat this cycle 3 times, allowing your body to soften and your mind to settle. The breath is a bridge between fear and peace, a sacred tool always available to you beyond breath. I invite you to befriend your fears by gently asking, what is this fear trying to teach me? Often, fear holds wisdom, a message about what we value most or what we need to release. In one of my quiet retreats, a fellow seeker confided in me how her fear of dying alone was overwhelming. Together, we explored this fear, revealing a deeper longing for connection and love. By acknowledging this, she found ways to open her heart, even in solitude. Dear ones, remember, you are never truly alone. The same life force that animates the stars, the rivers, and the trees flows within you. Connecting with this eternal presence can dissolve the loneliness that fear tries to impose. As we continue, let us speak about trust, the silent companion of courage. Trust in life's unfolding, trust in your inner wisdom, and trust in the journey itself. Trust is a seed that grows when watered by patience and faith. It does not promise a path free from difficulty, but it assures that you will not walk it without guidance. In the final cycle, trust allows us to surrender control, not in defeat, but in liberation. It is a sacred surrender to the natural rhythm of life and death, beginnings and endings. I encourage you now to take a moment, breathe deeply, and feel the power of trust rising within you. Let it be a quiet anchor amid any storms you face. As we near the close of this page, know that fear is a teacher, courage is your ally, and trust is the pathway home. Together, they form a trio that can carry you gracefully through the final life cycle. Thank you for walking this path of transformation with me. In the next page, we will explore the beautiful themes of gratitude and legacy, how embracing these can bring profound peace and meaning as life unfolds. Until then, may your heart be fearless, your breath steady, and your spirit radiant. Welcome back, dear friends. You have journeyed far with me, and now we arrive at a sacred crossroads in our conversation, the themes of gratitude and legacy. These gifts, like gentle rivers, carry us toward peace and fulfillment as we walk the final cycle of life. Gratitude is more than a feeling. It is a practice, a way of opening our hearts to the abundance that surrounds us. Even amid challenges, when we cultivate gratitude, we shift our gaze from what is missing to what is present. The breath in our lungs, the warmth of sunlight, the love of those near and far. I recall a moment in my early years as a monk, when a simple act of gratitude transformed my entire day. I was walking through the forest, burdened by worries, when a small bird landed nearby and began to sing. In that moment, I felt a deep swell of thankfulness for life itself. For this simple beauty, my worries did not disappear, but they softened like morning mist under the sun. Dear friends, gratitude invites us to live fully in the present, to honor the gift of now. It is a gentle reminder that even as life moves toward its natural close, there is much to celebrate, much to cherish, and from gratitude flows the quiet question of legacy. Not the legacy of wealth or fame, but the legacy of love, kindness, and wisdom we leave behind. What seeds have you planted in the hearts of others? What light have you shared in the lives you touch? Legacy is less about grand gestures and more about the small, consistent acts of presence and care. A smile offered in difficult times, a word of encouragement, a hand held in silence. These are the footprints that endure. I have known many elders who feared their lives would be forgotten, but I have also seen how their love rippled far beyond what they imagined. Sometimes, the most profound legacies are found in the quiet moments, in the unseen ways our lives touch others. As you reflect on your own legacy, consider this: how might you deepen your connections now? How can you share your wisdom and compassion with those you love, and even those you have yet to meet? It is never too late to plant seeds of kindness and understanding. Every moment holds the possibility to leave a mark of peace on the world. Before we close this chapter, let us take a moment to breathe together, inhaling gratitude, exhaling love. Feel the fullness of your heart as you honor your journey and the journey of all beings. Thank you, dear friends, for walking this path with me, for opening your hearts and minds to these timeless teachings as we prepare for our final page. Together, know that the journey of the final cycle is not an end, but a sacred transformation, a return to the essence of who we truly are. In our last conversation, we will explore the ultimate wisdom of embracing life's mystery with grace and peace, and how to carry this light forward into whatever comes next. Until then, may your days be filled with gratitude, your heart with love, and your spirit with enduring peace. Welcome, dear friends, to this final moment of our shared journey. Together, we have walked through the profound signs of the final cycle of life, embraced presence, courage, gratitude, and legacy. Now, it is time to rest in the ultimate truth, the sacred mystery that surrounds all life and death, beginnings and endings. Life is a dance of mystery, a vast unfolding beyond the reach of the mind, yet felt deeply by the heart. To embrace this mystery is to surrender the need for certainty and control and instead, to open ourselves fully to what is. When we release resistance, we create space for grace to enter. Grace is the gentle hand that carries us through the unknown, the quiet assurance that we are held not just by the earth beneath us, but by the infinite love that weaves through all things. In my years of meditation and solitude, I have come to see that the final cycle is not a closing but a returning, a homecoming to the essence of our being, to a place beyond time and fear. This returning calls us to trust in the flow of life, trust in the wisdom within, and trust in the light that never fades. It is here in this surrender that peace is found. Dear friends, I invite you now to rest in this moment with me. Breathe deeply, feel the vastness of your own spirit, and know that you are part of a timeless cycle, one that moves beyond endings into new beginnings. As we close this sacred conversation, remember the lessons we have shared: to be present, to embrace courage, to live with gratitude, to honor your legacy, and above all, to welcome life's mystery with an open heart. This is the final gift, the deepest teaching of all. Life is beautiful, fleeting, and eternal, and you, dear soul, are a precious thread in the infinite tapestry. Thank you for walking this path with me. May your journey continue with peace, love, and profound awakening. Until we meet again, may you live fully, love deeply, and rest gently in the embrace of life's eternal flow. With deepest gratitude and blessings, I bow to you.